If you want to follow me on Bluesky, you may do so by clicking the link in the description box. Now, I know a lot of celebrities are leaving sites like X due to Donald Trump winning the 2024 election and their disdain for Elon Musk, but I'm not leaving X at all. No, I'm going to be staying on that platform and looking to expand my social media presence because I understand the internet is a reflection of we the people, and every platform is supposed to be about people having the right to free speech and be able to express themselves on whatever platform they're on. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, All About the Goddess. The Goddess Next Door bears all in the art studio to catch a campus stalker in this action-packed Isis series mystery. Get your copy of Isis, All About the Goddess in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Ever since Donald Trump won the 2024 presidential election, a whole lot of celebrities have been announcing that they're leaving the social media platform formerly known as Twitter and now known as X because they believe that this site is no longer one that they feel comfortable being on. And according to some of these celebrities, such as Jussie Smollett, he says that he's leaving the website X because he says that X has become a platform of lies, racism, and hoaxes under Elon Musk. I hate to break it to mussy, dusty Jussie Smollett, but when it comes to the internet has been a foundation for lies, racism, and hoaxes ever since it started to get popular in the 1990s. Now, back in the 1990s, most of the websites that were on the internet were basically platforms that were filled with lies, racism, and hoaxes, and they were basically filled with this kind of content because it was basically the internet was a place where people basically went out here and made their speculations of their unsubstantiated claims as related to the lies that they had regarding different historical events and different conspiracy theories. Though there were a lot of websites that were out here on the internet that people either made themselves or they made on platforms like Angel Fire or GeoCities. I mean, there was a lot of places where people went out here and participated in presenting what people would speculate to be lies, such as many of these conspiracy theories. And when it came to racism, I'm not going to dismiss racism because racism was a big part of the internet and its growth and expansion. There were a lot of racist and white supremacists putting up websites all over the internet. Back in the 1990s and early 2000s, there were a lot of racists who went out here and had their own websites, and such as Stormfront and many others, and Breitbart and many other websites. And there were other message boards that people would go to express their racist views. And there have been a lot of hoaxes online, such as many people going out here to many early online dating sites and catfishing individuals by posting up younger pictures of themselves. Then when they meet up, they find out this person's completely different, or people taking stock photos and putting them up on their personal profiles. And there have been a lot of scams on sites like eBay when the site first started. So when Jussie Smollett makes this disingenuous statement saying that X has become a platform of lies, racism, and hoaxes, he's completely full of it because most of the internet has been a foundation of lies, racism, and hoaxes. And I would add on porn before Elon Musk even thought of buying Twitter back in 2022. So when I hear a celebrity like Jussie Smollett making this claim, I have to again call him out on it because he's completely full of it. And I have to call out many of these other celebrities who are going out here and making announcements on X, formerly known as Twitter, and saying that they're leaving the site. Many of these people who are going out here saying that they want to leave the site are completely full of it, because many of these same individuals, before Donald Trump wound up winning the election, didn't have a problem being on the site X. And the critical question I have to ask those individuals: if you had a problem with Elon Musk owning Twitter, which is now known as X, why didn't you leave back in 2022 when he bought the site for $44 billion? Critical question I have to ask many of these celebrities who are now going out here and making this virtual protest. And as they make this virtual protest, they're sitting here going out and trying to make this big online virtue signal that they're leaving the site Twitter, which is now known as X, because the site is what they call toxic. Unfortunately, many of these same celebrities don't want to take a look at the panoramic picture of the overall internet, especially social media, which has been a bubbling toxic cesspool, I say, ever since about 2014 or 2015. Now, I've been around on this internet ever since about 2000, and back in 2000, I remember, again, a completely different internet, and I remember a completely different internet where people basically understood that because most of the internet basically is a platform of lies, racism, and hoaxes, you basically took it with a grain of salt, and you took a lot of the information, or so-called information, and you didn't take it too seriously, because sometimes a lot of the things you see on the internet really are not that credible whatsoever. Unfortunately, because we've gotten a lot of people who are just, again, caught up in polarization regarding their emotions, such as many of these celebrities, because they see a platform that basically is not going out here agreeing with their talking points. What they want to do is go out here and say that this one site is basically one that is toxic, when the entire internet has been made toxic because of we the people. Now, the internet again started out in the 1990s, the expansion of it under President Bill Clinton. And under President Bill Clinton and Al Gore, what they wanted to do was go out here and create an information superhighway where people could be able to access information very easily and basically connect with people all over the world. Unfortunately, what's happened to that information superhighway is it's become a toxic cesspool, and it's become a toxic cesspool because what was placed on the internet is a reflection of we the people. It was a reflection of who we are, because what is presented on the internet basically is what people are presenting, reflecting themselves, and the content that they produce is a reflection of who they are. That is basically what you see on the internet. But many of these celebrities, again, they want to say that one site like X is the problem, when if you understand and are objective regarding these websites, you understand that it's basically not just one website such as X, and not just one website, because it's not just because Elon Musk owns X that makes it a toxic place. No, I can look at all of these different websites, whether it be Facebook, which basically, again, was censoring people and continues to censor people and put them in Facebook jail, or sites like YouTube, which basically will demonetize an entire video over one word, and basically people are just making up the rules as they go along. The internet in and of itself has become a toxic place, especially many corners of social media. And instead of people having civil discourses like we used to do on message boards like Wizard World and continue to have on places like the Fwoosh, what happens is you get a whole lot of people who want to go out here and congregate, and again, congregate on social media. And whenever they see people they disagree with, instead of doing like we used to do back in the 2000s when the internet was starting to evolve, and just basically continue to scroll or continue to just, again, click out. What we have are people who just disagree but are extremely disagreeable. And what these people do is they look to have arguments. They look to, again, have drama. We used to call them flame wars on message boards. But because these people can't deal with reality of people having differences of opinion, they go out here and go berserk these days. That's what we're seeing right now, all as related to social media. And as they start participating in this extremely antisocial behavior, what they do is go out here and throw an online temper tantrum. And that's what we're seeing with all of these announcements of people getting upset because Donald Trump won the election and are talking about how they want to leave the X platform, and many of them want to go to another platform known as Bluesky. And as they look to go to Bluesky, what they want to do is get away from those dissenting views. They want to get away from those dissenting views, similar to the way many on the right wanted to leave Twitter when it was run by Jack Dorsey, when he was censoring people, and head over to Truth Social. And many of those people, again, look to move to other social media sites like Bluesky and Threads. And as they look to move to Bluesky and Threads because they want to protest, one, Elon Musk owning the site and making it a free speech platform, and want to protest Donald Trump winning the 2024 election, we start to see that maybe it's not the site that's toxic, but the people who are toxic. Because what's happening now on sites like Bluesky is that we have a whole lot of mass reporting people who basically go out here and say Trump won the 2024 election, a noted fact. And as those people go out here and present facts to people, many of these same celebrities who said they were leaving one site because it was filled with lies, racism, and hoaxes are now going out here and perpetuating the same lies that Kamala Harris won the election, going out here participating in the same racism, in disrespecting black people, and going out here and participating in the same types of hoaxes. And again, proving my point that when it comes to the internet is a reflection of the people, because a website, whether it be like in the 2000s, a GeoCities, or a site like a Angel Fire page, or any of those free websites, was basically a reflection of the people back in the early 2000s. And what we see on social media right now is a reflection of the people. What we see right now is a reflection of the people. So leaving one site because it's toxic is not a solution. No, leaving one site and announcing that you're leaving a site isn't a solution. No, what's that is just basically people looking to deny the problem, which is we the people. We the people have become a whole lot less civil ever since the election of Barack Obama in 2008. And that's because many racists could not cope with the reality of a black president. And as they couldn't cope with the reality of a biracial black president who really wasn't doing anything for black people, they basically looked to go out here and elect Donald Trump. And as Donald Trump wound up winning, many on the left couldn't cope with Donald Trump winning the election. And many of these people have been having a break from reality, and as they've been having that break from reality, many of these people can't cope with things. And what we see is their inability to cope presented in the content that they produce on social media. And again, that social media is a blank space. It's a blank space that basically is one that you can create anything on. And with you being able to create anything on that space, you can make that space be whatever you want it to be. And sadly, many people, when they go out here and they make things on the internet, they can't cope with reality. And again, we see how they can't cope with reality because you're sitting here talking about how about one site, again, being a platform of lies, racism, and hoaxes, when I can go and look at the whole overall history of this internet, I can see how there are a lot of people spreading lies on places like MySpace back in the day, I could remember people putting lies on Blogger. I can remember racists putting racism on places like MySpace and Blogger, and basically putting hoaxes and scams all over the internet. And Elon Musk wasn't even thinking about buying Twitter back in those days. No, the internet has basically been nothing but lies, racism, hoaxes, and porn, because it was porn that basically blew up the internet. It was pornographic websites like Jen and Dave and the MILF Hunter that basically were the reason why the internet basically wound up blowing up, because basically people went to these kinds of websites back in the early 2000s, and that was the thing that drove the foot traffic online. That's what basically drove it, along with the e-commerce of Amazon.com. But really, again, if you look at the early internet, they were basically running conspiracy theories before Alex Jones even came up with this stuff on InfoWars. I mean, you could go to many old websites. I mean, just go to the Internet Archive, which will show you many of these old websites and how there was so much conspiracy theories. I mean, that's what you basically saw on places, and that's what basically the internet was. But you'll have these celebrities say, hey, we want to leave this site. But again, leaving to go where? That's the critical question I have to ask. That's the critical question I have to ask regarding things, because any place you're going to go on this internet is going to be toxic. And again, toxic because we the people have become toxic, because many people can't cope with the reality that the world is changing. And because the world is changing, these people can't deal with the fact that the world is becoming a place where you cannot go out here and just deal with a difference of opinion. And because these people can't cope with a difference of opinion, the way I learned how to cope, which is to, again, just continue scrolling or just go out here and just click out and move on. Many of these people don't know how to do this, and that's why they're having these meltdowns announcing they're leaving sites like X. But the whole thing is, you go to another site and you make that site just as toxic. You make that site just as toxic because you can't deal with reality. You can't deal with the reality of a world that is a reflection of your World Wide Web. And that's why these people basically are going from one site to another, not understanding that the whole internet is the same. And again, the internet is the same because it's we the people, and we the people basically having that opportunity to express our free speech that is presented by our First Amendment. And again, if you can't stand speech you don't like, then maybe the internet isn't a place for many of these celebrities. No, many of these celebrities just show that they can't cope with reality, and since they can't cope with reality, maybe they need to stop being on the internet and stop dealing with the real world, because the real world, again, of cyberspace is a reflection of our real world, where you're going to deal with different people, different opinions, and different ideas. This is just a part of life, and sadly, many of these people just don't know how to cope with life. And again, not knowing how to cope with life is a problem I'm seeing many people have, that's leading to more and more people becoming more men and women in crisis. Now, if you want to pick up some of my books on the SJS Direct imprint, you can find many of my books in fiction and nonfiction on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find those books at other online booksellers like Draft the Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you'd like to see me be able to make more videos about different subjects, such as talking about general topics like the internet, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, ISIS, All That Glitters. The goddess next door takes on a bikini-clad bank robber in this action-packed, all-new ISIS series adventure. Get ISIS, All That Glitters, paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.